Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to the next installment of the Fly with Orbit Microsoft Flight Simulator series. I believe this is the second installment. I don't know how many of these I have recorded. There's been a few that I've recorded, and I don't know if I've scrapped or not. You'll see in the title what it is, what episode it is. But in today's flight, we're going to be going from Sawyer International Airport, that is up in the Upper Peninsula in Michigan, and we are going to be flying to the main hub. So this series, we're using Orbit Airlines to connect smaller regional airports as well as other destinations to one another. And like with all airlines, you need a hub. You need a main hub to base your operations out of. Well, we're going to be flying there today, and that is going to be DTW, Detroit Metro Airport. In the real world, Delta Airlines has control of that. It was originally Northwest. When they were around, they went from 1,400 flights a day when Northwest had it at its peak. Now Delta only operates about 800 flights out of there. So it seems to make perfect sense, considering the size of the airport, that Orbit Airlines should make that their hub. So there will be a lot of flights in and out of there, but we'll also be doing smaller regional airports like this one to another smaller regional airport, and we'll also be using DTW to connect the rest of the world to the United States. So without further ado, we are using the Airbus A320, and we will be operating Orbit Flight 212 here from Sawyer International down to Detroit Metro. It's about 300 and some odd miles. It's going to be a quick one, so let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and enter the flight deck. So here we are in the flight deck of the A320. We have basic power. Everything's being aligned right now. So let's go ahead and get the APU started. Wait 30 seconds, get that start switch. Get our lights going. Nav lights. The strobes we will put on auto, beacons we will leave off right now. Let's go over to our ground. Let's get our lights on. Toggle our jetway. Let's get our catering and our luggage set up. Let's go ahead and configure a quick payload. So we won't be running too many passengers. There's not very many people that would fly up here anyways. So we'll keep it about, we got 96 on board. We won't fly too much cargo. And we'll keep the fuel low too. So let's go ahead and apply this. We'll get a warning saying that the zero fuel weight disagrees, just because we are loading. And then we will fix that here once we go into the initialization. So, a quick look at our flight plan. We'll be taking off from runway 1 at Sawyer International. No proper departure sequence, so it's just going to be straight from runway 1, a right-hand turn to get us set up, 2 waypoints en route, and then we will have a start procedure, grade 2 to LEFSA, and we will do the ILS to 4 right. It says 4 right, I'm actually going to do 4 left. So let me go ahead and change that. Because 4 right, currently they are using runway 4 right for departures as well as 3 left. So we will use our 4 left as our approach. So we don't have to mess anything with the star, which is pretty nice. We just got to make sure we get correctly over to where we have to go. So let's go ahead. We will send that over to our avionics, and then we will insert the rest of the flight plan here momentarily. Let's take a second and go over our weather today. Good visibility, 8.6 miles. 290 at 5 knots. Altimeter is 3002. We'll set that momentarily. 26 degrees Celsius outside. Clear skies. We're looking pretty over here in Sawyer. Metro Airport should be a little cloudy. Yep. So Winds 020 at 13 knots, altimeter is 2994. Good visibility again, but we have scattered clouds 6065 and then scattered at 250. So it's going to be a little bit cloudy, and we also have wind gusts up to 20 knots, so it is quite windy over there, which should make for a pretty interesting approach. So let's go ahead and configure our MCD here, or FMS. Let's go to our initialization page. So again, we are flying orbit 212. Cost index of 20. Reset our zero fuel weights here. We just clear all of this stuff out here. Weights cleared, beautiful. Click that a couple times, make sure it clicks in. Put in our block, that'll calculate as it's supposed to. And let's go to our flight plan. No departure, 2 waypoints. And we have our approach here to 4 left, so let's go ahead and just make sure that is correct. ILS Yankee 4 left, done. Now I have grade 2. Now the transition we did use was LEFSA, but we won't be using a transition for this one. So we're just going to go ahead and click insert. That's going to calculate like so. We see we do have a discontinuity here. That's just because there will be manual vectors to get us lined up. And once we get lined up, I will basically get us lined up for the approach onto 4 left. So, that being said, let's go ahead and let's get our takeoff weights computed. Sync our weather, our weights, flaps 1. 131, 131, 135. This is going to be a very low takeoff roll because we are not that heavy. Say 135 and the flex is 58. Flex is 38. And we are using flaps 1. Okie dokie. So what did I say that altimeter was? Short-term memory, go crazy. 3002. So let's go ahead and get that configured. Like so. So we're going to do a direct climb to flight level 210. So we're just going to get that computed right there. Flight director's on to make sure everything gets managed. Okay. So we have all of that punched in. Go here. Let's get our APU bleed going. Disconnect our GPU. Now I believe we should be ready. We just make sure all of our vehicles are clear, which they are. We just have to disconnect the jetway here in a minute. So let's go ahead and do that now. That should go away. Our GPU is free and clear. We don't have chocks on the ground. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and get some fuel pumps. Fuel pumps are on. APU's still good. Let's get that beacon going. Let's go ahead and get ready for pushback. Parking brake disengaged. So hopefully this will push us back to, we'll have tail to the left here. Beautiful. Alright, well, while pushback happens, let's just go through and make sure we are good to rock and roll. So we're going to go ignition start. We have the fuel pumps already on. Get our wind shear set to on, wind shear traffic. TCAS will come on here in a minute. Right here, so we're going to go to all. And then TA. Okay, pushback is complete. Set parking brake, engine start, number 2. Reason we start engine number 2 is because that is the side where the yellow hydraulics are. So if we need basic power to move any of the flight controls around, engine 2 is the one that will help power that. Well, we can see N1's spinning. We got EGTs are coming up, N2's alive, fuel flow's alive, oil pressure's coming up. Engine 2 will become available momentarily. There it is. Engine 1 coming online. Let's make sure our cockpit is also locked. Alright, while engine 1 comes on, we'll do taxi lights. Put our landing lights into the off position for now. Beacon lights are on, strobes are on. Nav logo lights, we'll put the 2. We don't need anti-ice because it is very warm outside. We have currently a fault in generator 1, just because everything is coming online right now. Same with the packs, well, those are on right now, so we're good in that department. Engine 1 avail. Ignition to normal. Laps 1. Flight control check. We'll pitch up. We'll pitch down. We'll pitch left. Full right. Rudders. Left. Neutral, right, neutral, auto brake, go to max, spoilers, the ground spoilers, armed, taxi light is on, we can disable the ECU. Okay, that being said, we are ready to taxi. Parking brake disengaged. Now we are light enough, we don't really need to add power, it'll just start rolling on its own. Must got really close to the aircraft there. We will go ahead and we will taxi over to runway 1. But because of this airport's layout and the fact that it's incomplete, you can only see there's only a few spots which see taxiway lines. So what we're going to do is we're going to come through here. And there's our taxiway to get to runway 1. Lots of general aviation traffic over here. This airport was once a Air Force base. Still kind of serves military purposes. You'll see C-17s, C-130s, KC-135s flying in and out of here from time to time, but there was once a time where we housed strategic bombers here during the Cold War era. And you can actually see that. I don't know if you'll be able to see it from here. Over there, you can see that Christmas tree-like pattern. And that's where the strategic bombers are housed. On standby, ready to go. So this is the general airport that serves the Marquette region. And the mining towns that are nearby. There is in fact a very large iron ore mine not too far from here. I did a video where I did a flyover in it with a Piper. We took off from this airport, flew around the mine. You can see just vast scale. We might see it upon departure here. I'm not entirely sure. Let's test our takeoff configuration. Takeoff config normal. Good there. So it's going to be a left turn on the Alpha, and we're going to take that all the way to the end. Right, quick little go over of what the departure should be. So we will be taking off runway 1. Anything happens before V1, we will abort. That means full reverse, full brakes, spoilers will come up. If anything happens after V1, we will take it up into the air. We'll get our gear up. We'll get our flaps cleaned up, pitch for FS at 2,500 feet, and then we will simulate a holding pattern nearby and run some checklists to see what needs to be done next. Other than that, if anything does not go wrong, which is obviously always the hope, it should be a pretty smooth flight all the way over to DTW, and then we will get ready for a pretty windy approach. This flight shouldn't take long at all, probably 45 minutes. Yeah, give or take 45 minutes, which is not too bad. Right over there, see it, this region right here, this little hilly area, that is where the mine is. So maybe when we take off and we're up in the air and get high enough, we should be able to see that. That is the hope, at least. Getting close to runway, so we'll go ahead and get our landing lights on. So it'll be a right turn right here. ready for runway 1. Entering the runway. This runway is pretty long. It's a little over 9,000 feet long. Has to be for back in the Cold War days. Okie dokie, we're lined up. Let's get going. It's 80 knots. Rotate. Pilot's ready to climb, gears coming up. And over there's the mine. You can kind of see the hole in the ground over there. There's the tailing pond. Pretty cool to see. If you haven't seen my video on it, go check it out. It's really cool. Alright, now that we have got auto throttle engaged, we'll go flaps 1. Pitching for 250 knots right now. Just a very light turn. Gonna get the nose up just a little bit more so we can maintain 250 knots. Looks like we're going to catch a little bit of a tailwind too. It's also great. Pitch down just a hair there. Get us closer to 250. Pitch right back up. 10 degrees. Should hold me pretty steady there. Climbing pretty quickly, which is great to see. Pitch down just a little bit. We're going to pitch to about 5 degrees nose as we are crossing the 10,000 foot marker. We're above 10,000 feet. Landing lights are coming off. Seat belts will be disengaged automatically. Auto throttle's doing its thing, making sure we are keeping in the climb threshold, 87.6% and 1. We are climbing. Accelerating to 285 knots right now, as indicated. We can go ahead and pitch nose up a little bit more to maintain that speed. Left-hand turn. Get absolutely phenomenal performance out of this aircraft right now, simply because of how light we are. 5 degrees pitch nose up, and we're climbing, what, 2,800 feet per minute, which is incredible. Pitch down just a little bit to get more speed. Because of how high and fast we are climbing, we're actually going to accelerate our climb. We're going to go up to 28,000. Just because of how quick we are climbing up. Almost reminded me of the Phenom. Just a little bit of pitch here. Bring that airspeed down a little bit. There we go. Crossing 18,000 feet. There it is. Standard. Pitch down just a little bit more. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and engage the autopilot, let the aircraft do its thing. We're going to climb up to flight level 280. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it right here, and I'll catch you guys on the approach down into Detroit Metro. So make sure to stick around, and I'll see y'all on approach. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are on our approach into DTW, just broke through the clouds, crossing 10,000 feet. So, with that being said, landing lights are already on. I went ahead and did those already before clicking record. Seatbelt signs have come on. Got a couple more turns left. We're getting lined up for the approach, so we got a right-hand turn and then another slight right, which will get us lined up for the downwind. So what we will do is, when it goes to manual vectors, I'm going to let it stay on course for a little bit. And then when we get close to the first waypoint for our ILS, I will then connect it together. We've been setting about 1,000 feet a minute for a little bit. We're going to expedite the descent ever so slightly, because we are at this waypoint right here. It's still on 12,000 feet. We're not going to descend that hard. You can see, let me do one more change here. We can probably still stay at 1,000 feet. Going flying through some clouds right now, so we have a little bit of distance between where it manually disconnects to our next waypoint, and we are right here. So keeping it 1,000 feet per minute, 250 knots is going to be just fine. Our final altitude is going to be 2,500 feet for the lineup. Getting through the clouds. Again, broken clouds over here in the area. We'll just do one more weather check to confirm confirm everything. So again, broken clouds all over the place. Altimeter has not changed, and we got 360 winds, gusts. The gusts have calmed down. Thankfully, it was 20 knot gusts, but we can see by looking at what runways are recommended. We can see that 4 left is the go-to. 4 right they're using for departures, so there's no point in landing there. Going through quite the thick cloud right now. There is no rain in the forecast around the area, but it's just the way that these clouds are formed. They look heavy, they look like they're going to rain something, but it's really not. Currently right now, let's see where we are based on the maps we are in. It looks like the south area right now. Got a couple highways intersecting right here. I'm very familiar with this area. Flying all the time and all the landmarks. Hard to see because we still are going through the clouds, but once we get lower, you can see what's going on. Aircraft decided to go on the GoPro idle. We're very close to it. And just breaking through the clouds. You can see runways over here, so we're in the Romulus area. Can't see the airport right now, but it is over here. Once we get to this cloud, we should start to see it, hopefully. Over here on our left-hand side, you can see just how layered everything is. But we will be below the threshold for staying in the clouds. So we are now in manual mode, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to expedite our descent a little bit. So essentially what the aircraft is going to do is it's going to continue flying on the straight path until told to do otherwise. So basically what I'm doing is allowing it to fly straight on this path because we've already crossed the manual vector location. We're going to continue to fly straight, and then once we get about parallel with this waypoint, we will flip a U-turn and get ready to land. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the speed back. We're going to slow it to 180 slowly but surely. Throttles are going to go idle, and we begin slowing ever so slightly. Once we level off at our final altitude to get lined up for the approach, we will start to see a little bit more airspeed bleed off. We're getting close to the final turn, and we're just crossing the parallel of the waypoint. We're going to extend just a little bit further just to maximize our descent time. So we'll cross 4,000 feet. Now I'm going to come over here to our direct to, and then we are going to click that waypoint. So here's what it's going to do is it's going to turn us around and get us lined up. As we make the turn, there's our first call-out warning. So strobes are on, beacons on, landing lights are all on, seatbelts are automatic. Everything looks okay up here. Altimeters are set. So we will begin our slowing. We're going to start slowing down right about here. Throttles are going to remain idle. We have our checklist up for our approach. So once we cross that waypoint, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the localizer capture for the approach, but I will hand fly it because whenever you fly forward left, it comes in a little off center from what it's supposed to be. I'm not sure why that is. well, the actual localizer capture does not fly true to the center line of the runway. It actually is off a little bit. Below 220 knots, we can go ahead and add a notch of flaps. Once we cross 190, we will go flaps 2, like so. Throttles are going to kick on. So essentially, once we cross this here waypoint, it'll be an ever so slight left-hand turn. Airport is just off to our left, right on the other side of this, of where the glass is. And when we begin to make that turn, I will go ahead and put the gear down and go into approach. So we're about 10 miles. So there's a fuel warning. We are getting low on fuel right now. We have 15% remaining. Here we go. We are beginning to line up. So let's go ahead. Once we cross, like so, we're going to put the gear down. We have the runway directly in front of us now. There it is. As you can see, we're already coming off center here. So once the gear comes down, I'm going to disengage the autopilot. Begin a descent right now. Just to get lined up. And we have gear down, so we're going to go ahead and start adding flaps. We're just going to prepare everything. So what I'm going to do is disconnect the autopilot now. I'm going to maintain speed with the throttles of 4 now, so we're going to go ahead and slow to about 135. This can should be good enough. I don't press speeds and throttles go idle. And we'll get lined up here.
$1,000.
Coming a little low on the pappy, so now we're going to add the last set of flaps. The spoilers are armed, flaps are full. It's gusting on approach here. We see we have 18 knots and playing with us a little bit. We're going to slow to about 130. Vertical speed is selected to 600. We'll keep it around 600-700 feet per minute until we get closer to the runway. $400 above the ground. Throttles are 9. Touchdown. Nose gears down for reverse. At 60 knots, disengage. And we'll just let it roll. Go ahead and clear this caution message here. Take the high speed over here, which is Alpha 4. Alright, clear the runway. Flaps and spoilers come up. Track the landing lights, go to taxi mode here. And now we taxi. Taxi to the gate is always the longest part, it seems like, especially at a larger airport like this. So, welcome to Detroit Metro Airport. An airport this size, it should be having way more flights in and out of it. But it is quite the busy airport, but nonetheless. Operating around 800 flights daily. It used to push around 1,400 back in the early to late 2000s before Delta got their hands on it. Four north-south parallel runways, 2 crosswind runways. It has all of the infrastructure needed to handle way more traffic than what it actually provides. It's taxiing around. We've got terminal there, the bigger terminal, the camera is behind it. That's where all of your international flights coming out of a lot of heavy gauge over there. And over here is the Evans terminal, so we'll be parking over. Not here, but we should be right there. And then over here, we have the Spirit hangar, Red Spirit Airlines. Not sure what they're going to do with that real estate now. And then Delta hangars over there. Sometimes you'll see A350s hanging around there. We're gonna we are going to hold short, 4 right real quick. We're going to let this A319 go by and we're going to cross. This A319 should turn right in front of us onto Victor. If not, he's going to be going straight over to Kilo, which looks like he is turning onto Victor. We can go ahead and begin moving a little bit. Cross right behind him. So we have Ron, taxiway Victor, Yankees right here, Kilo runs right next to it. That takes you to the gates for Evans. Taxiway we will be using is this one right here. Crossing momentarily. Taxiway Bravo. Let's see what this bus is going to do, so we're going to hold it short of Bravo. I think he's going to wait for this 319 to get by enough. There he goes. So we can continue. Cross 9 left here, and then I will begin starting the APU. I can see our gate just ahead. I'm going to go ahead and start it now. Wait 3 seconds. Get it started. That should come up right here. That way we can monitor if there's anything wrong with the APU, which there shouldn't be. Flap is open, which means we should start seeing it come alive here. Looks like we have a 757 coming this way, so I'm going to hold right here. Hopefully he goes to the right. If not, he's just going to pass right through us. APU is coming alive. I'm really excited for the Bluebird 757. I hope to see that aircraft here very, very soon. It's a 757-300, looks like. The APU is ready, which it is, so let's go ahead and get the bleed on. And we can now continue. Our gate is literally right on the other side of this A320. Little transit van, you might get flattened here, buddy. Yeah, you're definitely getting flattened. You turned left. And into the engine you go. So, like our other video, if you're unsure what gate is yours, check for a catering truck, a baggage cart, which is buried here somewhere, and then a tug. They'll be white or blue. Usually yours will be blue for at a returning airport. If you have high density scenery like this, it may be a little difficult for you to spot. But if you remember which gate you have, so we chose Alpha 70 for this one, you'll also see folks running around here. Higher density scenery airports will actually have the gate number posted right before the ramp there. Well, let's go ahead and get lined up. ahead, parking brake on. APU is set. Engine shut down. Doors opening. Jetway still doesn't know where it wants to go. This part is actually supposed to retract. I don't know why it's fixed, but it is. But anywho, that is the current flight. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments where you want to see me go next. We can do basically any airport that has a functioning terminal with jetways, or we can do some stuff with stairs. It just has to be able to support an Airbus aircraft, or now the A320, which just came out, and the Aerosoft CRJ, which I have. I just don't have an Open Airlines livery for it, but I will be using those aircraft probably with their house liveries just because. So that'll do it. Make sure to leave a like on the video, leave a comment, tell me what you like, what you didn't like, what I should improve, everything like that. Feedback is always accepted. Also make sure to hit that subscribe button for when the next video goes live, and the notification bell so you know when it does go live. Thank you guys so much for watching. We will see you in the next one.